It was a cold winter night, and James, a college student, found himself home alone while his parents were away on a business trip. As darkness settled outside, he sought solace in the comfort of his familiar surroundings, unaware that the night would unravel into a living nightmare. Hours passed as James immersed himself in his studies, occasionally glancing out the window at the moonlit street. The peaceful ambience was shattered by a faint noise, barely discernible above the wind's howl. He dismissed it as his imagination running wild. With an uneasy feeling settling in his gut, James decided to investigate the source of the sound. As he crept through the house, he noticed that a back door, usually locked, was ajar. A surge of anxiety coursed through him as he realized someone had gained unauthorized access to his home. Fear gripping his heart, James retreated to his room, hoping to remain unnoticed. Thoughts raced through his mind. Was it a burglar, an intruder with malicious intent, or merely a harmless mistake? Unable to ignore the gnawing dread, he dialed emergency services on his cell phone, silently praying for assistance. As James clutched the phone, desperately awaiting a response, he heard the sound of shuffling footsteps approaching his room. Panic consumed him as he realized that the intruder was drawing closer, their intentions unknown. He swiftly concealed himself in a closet, silently pleading for help from the authorities. The footsteps grew louder, resonating through the empty house, each one closer to his hiding place. Beads of sweat formed on James's forehead as his heart pounded against his chest. The silence shattered as the intruder entered the room, their presence suffocating. From the darkness of the closet, James caught a glimpse of the intruder, a figure cloaked in shadows, their face concealed by a mask. The intruder moved with eerie precision, their actions deliberate and calculated. Fear paralyzed James as he struggled to comprehend the terror unfolding before him. Time seemed to stand still as the intruder methodically searched the room, invading James's personal space. Every creak of the floorboards resonated like thunder, each breath an audible reminder of the intruder's proximity. The weight of helplessness settled upon James like an inescapable shroud. Just as despair threatened to consume him, the sound of sirens wailed outside. The intruder's demeanor shifted, their focus redirected towards the impending arrival of law enforcement. In a frantic bid to escape, they fled, disappearing into the night, leaving James trembling in the aftermath. The incident serves as a chilling reminder that darkness can breach the sanctity of our lives when we least expect it. Emma, a 21 young woman, had spent the evening reveling in the Halloween festivities. As the night wore on, she returned home, her heart still pounding with excitement. Unbeknownst to her, the night held a sinister twist, shattering the joyous ambience of the holiday. As Emma settled into her new furnished living room, she noticed her phone ringing. Curiosity piqued, she answered, expecting it to be one of her friends giving her a Halloween greeting. However, the voice that greeted her sent chills down her spine, a voice laced with malice, dripping with sadistic intent. The voice was extremely deep with a loud tone. Unease settled over her, but she dismissed it as a cruel prank. Little did she know that her tormentor had plans beyond the phone calls alone. Just as the moon reached its zenith, a violent crash echoed through the stillness of the night, a sound that shattered the tranquility of her safe, warm home. Fear gripped Emma's heart as she realized the source of the disturbance, a shattered window, shards of glass littering her floor. The unknown caller had escalated their torment, invading her sanctuary in the most chilling manner. The figure looked to be 6'5", with a stocky build. The figure seems to be holding some kind of sharp object. Her pulse racing, Emma's mind raced to comprehend the horror that had befallen her. As she scanned her surroundings, she glimpsed a huge figure moving with purpose through the broken window. The terrifying person, driven by sinister motives. Paralyzed by fear, Emma retreated, her thoughts racing to find a means of escape. Panic filled her as the intruder drew closer, their steps deliberate and menacing. The once festive decorations now took on an eerie air, serving as haunting witnesses to the intrusion unfolding before her eyes. Driven by survival instincts, Emma mustered the courage to seek refuge in a secluded corner, praying for help to arrive. Time seemed to stand still as she clung to the faint hope that someone would intervene, rescue her from the clutches of this malevolent stranger. In the midst of her darkest hour, Emma's prayers were answered as the sounds of approaching sirens permeated the night. One of Emma's neighbors must have heard the commotion. The wails of police cars grew louder, heralding the arrival of law enforcement. The intruder, realizing their time was running out, fled into the night, leaving Emma trembling in the aftermath. In the wake of the terrifying intrusion, Emma faced a long road to recovery. The scars, both physical and emotional, would forever serve as a chilling reminder of the horrors that can befall even the most innocent of souls on Halloween nights. Emily, an independent and resourceful woman, found herself home alone on a stormy night. Hungry and craving a late-night pizza, she decided to order a delivery. Little did she know that this seemingly innocuous decision would soon transform into a nightmarish battle for survival. As the storm raged outside, Emily anxiously awaited the arrival of her pizza. A sense of unease settled upon her, as each passing minute felt like an eternity. Finally, the doorbell echoed through the empty house, and she cautiously opened the door to receive her order. The deliveryman standing before her had an unsettling aura, his eyes glinting with an unknown menace. His hair was scruffy and looked like he hasn't showered in months and gave off a very bad odor. Suppressing her instincts, Emily exchanged payment and took the pizza, eager to retreat into the safety of her home. However, he stood there emotionless. As she closed the door, a wave of dread washed over her. Something was terribly wrong. A jolt of terror coursed through Emily's veins as she heard the sound of shattering glass from the rear of her house. Her heart pounded in her chest as she realized the deliveryman had resorted to breaking his way in, driven by a sinister purpose. Panic consumed her, and she knew she had to act swiftly to survive. Determined and quick thinking, Emily fled deeper into the house, locking doors and barricading them with any furniture she could find. The storm outside mirrored the tempestuous battle within her home as the relentless deliveryman unleashed his fury, pounding on the doors with frenzied determination. Emily's mind raced, searching for a way out of this horrifying predicament. She dialed emergency services, her voice trembling as she relayed the terrifying situation. Help was on the way, but time seemed to stand still as the deliveryman relentlessly hammered on the doors, his intentions growing more malicious with each passing moment. With no other options, Emily devised a risky plan. Taking a deep breath, she mustered her courage and made a break for the back door, praying that the deliveryman's attention would remain focused on the barricaded front. The storm raged around her as she ran, driven by a fierce determination to survive. Just as she reached the back door, the deliveryman caught sight of her escape attempt. With a chilling smile, he pursued her, fueled by a sadistic glee. Emily's heart raced as she fumbled with the lock, her fingers shaking in fear. With a final burst of adrenaline, she managed to unlock the door and burst into the stormy night. As she stumbled into the rain-soaked darkness, the distant wails of approaching sirens offered a glimmer of hope. The deliveryman continued pursuing her, with no care of the authorities that was just down the road. He was determined to claim another victim. Police saw the deliveryman chasing Emily down while she was screaming at them. It took the police a brief moment to realize what was happening. They shouted at the deliveryman to stop his pursuit, but he continued. They then opened fire and severely injured the attacker, stopping him in his tracks immediately. To this day, Emily had no idea of what happened to the man, but hopefully he has been locked away forever to never hurt or traumatize another person again.